Hey guys, this is a reply video to Alessandro. He asked me a question about the single edge blades I'd been using and Artist Club blades. And there were a bunch of things I wanted to say, and I thought, you know what, let's make a little video. And because visual stuff like showing razors and things like that, I'm sure are going to help him, and it might keep me on track as well. And then I thought, you know what, there's no reason why we can't just put it on the whole channel in general to, in case anybody else is curious. And so his question was, the single edge blades. He'd been seeing me use a razor like this. This is the Gem Micromatic Clog Proof. And this isn't the one I've been using lately, but it turns out I found out that I had another one. This one doesn't have has some kind of retaining spring that's broken, but I bet it'd be still useful. And so it uses one of these Gem, and this is the PTFE single edge blade. And it's pretty much ubiquitously touted as the blade to use. I haven't seen a single edge user of these kind of razors that said that this wasn't the best blade. And so there seems to be a lot of agreement there. And so you just place and these are different than the ones that you get for paint scrapers and things like that. And then you just tighten it down. You place it in there, tighten it down. And I found that if I went by the feel of the shave, by the end, I was very irritated. I was, let's not say very irritated. Reserve that for some really stuff where you're bleeding and all that. I was just say I was irritated enough not to have enjoyed the shave all that much. But what I discovered was, after advice from folks like HD Shaves and others, that with these razors, this face right here kind of needs to go almost touching your face. And when I did that, I got a comfortable and close shave on my cheeks. I got a pretty comfortable shave on my neck. My trouble spot right here, it started to show a little bit of irritation, but it was just a tiny bit. But most of all, it was a very, very close cut. And so it works really well. I could probably use it every day if I wanted to, but it would require careful technique in certain spots because it's very efficient with this Gem Clog Proof. I think there are others like maybe the G-Bar, the Featherweight, maybe the Bullet Tip, that might be a little bit more mild than this one, and I am looking forward to trying those out more. So after having used this type of razor for several shaves, Alessandro asked me how I felt about the Artist Club razor, the razor blade system, and those razors that use it in comparison to this. And so this video is my answer to that. And in a way, I'm showing you some different single-edged razors in the process and talking about that. So the Artist Club is, and I've got, if you can see right there, it goes from here all the way over to here. And this is the refill, and this is the Kai brand, and they really went crazy with the name, the Captain Titan Mild. And this has 20 blades in it. And it's a dispenser. And they had to create something like this because these razors are so thin. With DE blades, you can put those in an envelope and fold them, and then people can handle them pretty safely. But these guys are so narrow that you have to create something like this. There are several different brands available, and I have not seen it be as ubiquitous. It's not as popular which one to choose. And so I do recommend getting a few of the different ones out there, do some research, see the top couple that people recommend. And there definitely seem to be ones that people don't recommend at all, so do some research there. I think I remember these being pretty good or highly recommended by somebody that I found trustworthy. I don't think these are as subjective as DE blades. DE blades, we have so many options and they're so thin. These blades, just like the, did I put it down? Oh, I put it in the razor. Just like the single edges right here, these are thicker than the DE blades that we use. And so all of these will provide a more firm feel during the shave. You're not gonna feel it be quite as scratchy as you move it across your face, especially on that first pass. I've found that I'll probably be able to make a DE blade, double-edged, last a lot longer than these blades is my guess. Because maybe it's thinner. I don't know exactly why, but that's my guess. Okay, so since these are thicker, you'll get a whole different experience, a firmer experience. Someone was telling me, I can't remember who, maybe it was first name on the comments, that some people regard the Clog Pruf as feeling like a straight razor, about as close as a non-straight razor can make you feel like you're getting a shave from a straight razor. And that might be true. I don't quite have the technique to evaluate that as true or false, but I think that's a pretty reasonable claim. And so these are the Artist Club. Now, very similar shape is this one. Now look, it is shorter than the Artist Club. I believe they're about the same width, but in terms of length, this is the Injector Blade, the Schick Injector, and Persona makes some Injector Blades as well. There are some other brands for the AC, the Artist Club blades, and the Injector ones are shorter, and I have used these a few times, and I think I like this experience a little better than the Artist Club, but we'll maybe talk more about that later. Okay, so these are the Artist Club blades in its cartridge. You'll need to keep that around with you whenever you want to change up. Now with these kind of blades, I've heard people get to the 15 uses and still think they can keep on going. So maybe 10 to 20, 25 uses might be what you'll be able to get out of them, you know. So that's maybe a reasonable expectation. And that might be similar with the Artist Club. I'm not sure about that. Oh yeah, here I can show you an actual Artist Club blade, because this is the feather. And this is stainless steel here, and it's plastic. There's a more expensive version that has a wooden handle that looks gorgeous. And of course, as you can see, this is designed to look like a straight razor and give you a similar feel. I have used this one a couple times before on my channel, and if you'd like to search my channel for Artist Club, I'm sure this one is going to be in the results. And you squeeze, you pinch right here, and then the blade can come out. I'm doing it gently to be safe and protect the edge. There we go. So that is what the Artist Club blade actually looks like. And it looks almost the same as the Injector Blade, which is here. It's just longer. Might even be exactly the same width and things like that. I don't know. And so the Artist Club, and this is just almost like a little clip. And so I can put this Artist Club blade back in, clamp it down. As you can see, that's very quick to change out. And so this arrangement here keeps you from having to have a straight razor and stropping on a regular basis, and then every 200 or 100 or whatever shaves, have to send out to have it be refreshed on a stone by a Hohenmeister, or to have to keep a 12,000 grit stone around yourself or something to that grit effect to refresh it yourself. Lapping film or whatever. I'm not a straight razor expert, but that's generally the concept. You need to do something other than a leather strop every once in a while. The strop is to hold you off and let you extend your shave, extend the good feelings of the edge, to protect the edge, realign things at the microscopic level. That's what the leather strop does. And but then eventually the strop won't bring it back to where it needs to be, and that's when you have to send it off. Well, this eliminates that whole process, because whenever it's done, you just replace the blade, obviously. So this guy is the Feather Artist Club. Some people call these razors shavettes. Now, officially, I believe the shavette term belongs to Dovo, I think, as a maker. and that's like a trademark for them or something like that. But so many people have adopted that term for anything that has that form of the foldable arrangement with replaceable blades. And whether the blades get replaced by a DE blade or a half DE blade, which is a double-edged blade broken in half and then put right there, they have that as well. And they call them a shavette. This actually, you know what? I don't think they call these shavettes, because I think this is more referred to as an artist club razor. And so everybody knows that it's the single edge and all that stuff. Feather does make a kamasori style where it's not folding. It's just got a handle. It's not this long. It stops maybe about right here, but there's no folding involved, because the kamasori is the Japanese style where it just doesn't fold, and you hold it like this, and that'd be neat to try someday. All right, so Artist Club, and this is from Feather, very well made. There is a kamasori style that's an off-brand CJB or something like that only cost $14, $20, and so it's a lot less expensive than this one. I bought this one on the used market, so I saved some money. But the cheaper one from CJB and maybe some other makers make them. I've heard some people like them and some people don't. So do some research if you're interested in trying out that style, but it's out there. And I like to keep this guy in this razor case. This is meant for double-edged razors, but when you put a real double-edged razor in here, because it doesn't have anything to keep it centered, the ends can kind of come out even when it's closed over. And so I didn't really like that. So when I travel or anytime I need, this is the razor that I use for this pouch. It fits perfectly, and it's not going to wiggle out and show a corner or anything like that. And I believe this is Parker brand, and I think I got it off Amazon or eBay or something like that. Fake leather, I'm sure. And the Artist Club blades also fit these types of razors. And this is the, I think some people call this what is it? The mongoose. It's the mongoose, and some people call it the alumagoose because it's made from aluminum. And it's very light, and as you can see, this is very angular. Now here's another one that's very curved. Now this is a Razorock Hawk. There are a couple different versions out there. I don't know exactly which one this one is, but this is aluminum as well. The Hawk does come in other colors, but black is what I have to show you now. I have used the Hawk, and so you can search for Hawk on my channel and see that shave. Because it's aluminum, I have not actually used this, the mongoose, but I will someday, probably someday soon. The Hawk gave me a nice shave. As you can see, since it's wider than a normal DE or SE blade, then you get more coverage area. And so, but I mean, I've never really had a problem with that. I kind of like the smaller size of the DE for maneuverability and things like that. But nevertheless, I enjoyed the shave. I definitely, because of the firmness of the blade, I enjoyed the consistency. It wasn't super smooth, but it did a good job. It had a good feel to it, like I knew I was shaving. It performed well. It gave me a nice close shave, as I recall. I just don't like light razors that are as light as aluminum. I just don't like that. You kind of have to pull them through the hair a little bit, because with the heavier razors, there's some inertia there. You get it moving and the hair doesn't slow it down as much because of inertia. It moves through the hair and there's a sensation of being smoother. Well, the aluminum usually removes that sensation, and you feel it going through your hairs a little bit more. Some people may like that feel, but it is something I often feel like I have to pull through my hair. Some people may like that. But one thing that people love about the aluminum razors is the fact that they don't corrode. Even stainless steel can rust over time. I mean, if you keep it worth any kind of care, then you're going to be okay. But they can tea stain, they can corrode just a little bit, and it can eventually happen over time. And so some I think it's kind of fanatical, but hey, it's your hobby, you know, do what you want. But I think it's taken a little far to only shave with one that absolutely can't corrode. And because aluminum is just not going to do that. Now, if you're a frequent traveler, then maybe a few grams is going to be important to you. And so an aluminum razor might be a good thing for you. This one, just like a normal three-piece type razor, has a top cap with a bolt on it. It's got a base plate here, and then the handle would touch the base plate right about there. And in this case, you've got holes on the ends that correspond to these two pins right here. And so to put the blade in, you would just put it on the edge, on these pins with the edge coming out. Put the base plate on, and then screw on the handle. Now, of course, these are threaded like normal, and so you could use a stainless steel handle or some other brand of handle that you wanted with no problem. And if disaster struck and I was stranded somewhere with only this kind of razor, I wouldn't have a problem at all using it every day. I enjoy it. I just enjoy those DE razors just a little bit more. I think it can deliver a very close shave, and so performance, I think, is just as good as the others. I will say that these blades don't seem like they're going to last me as long. The Artist Club or the single edges, I don't think they're going to last me as long as I can go with the DE. I can easily go to 30 or 40 shaves with a double-edged blade. And then I can change razors away from a mild razor to something a little bit more medium in aggression and keep going past that number. And I don't think that's going to happen with these thicker blades. And so they cost more. There are fewer choices. Now, with the Artist Club, you do have some, you've got the Kai blades. I know Persona makes some. And you can research some of the different ones out there and what people recommend. Schick, I think, makes some. Sometimes people recommend jumping on eBay and ordering from China to get a certain kind of Schick blade. As a matter of fact, that one that I had here, no, okay. And so the blades are a little bit, you have less of a choice with these kind of blades. And however, you got more choices than you do with these single edge. You pretty much want to go with the PTFE blade from Jim with this kind of razor. But with the Artist Club, you got some choices, as well as with the Injector. Now, with Alessandro, I think he's asking those questions about how I would compare it. Maybe he's thinking about making a purchase and buying an Artist Club razor. And if that's the case, if you find an inexpensive Artist Club razor, like you might find a Hawk or a Mongoose out there somewhere. I think the Mongoose, I assume this is a Mongoose because of the angle. I'll have to go and check on something right quick. But I've seen, every once in a while, I'll see these aluminum Hawks up for sale, and they're not too expensive. And so that might be a good option. But you know what's dirt cheap? These Injector razors. There's a bunch of different kinds. There is even an adjustable, but for me, it didn't really adjust too much. There are kinds with shorter handles. There are just a good number of choices, and they're all vintage. I think many of them are Schick brand, and some of them are more metal. This one obviously switches pretty quickly to a plastic handle, and I like the shave that these provide. Now, these also have a device that looks kind of like this, and there is a key, and this one is shorter because, you see, the Artist Club razors don't have a vice-like grip on the blades like these Injectors do. As you can see, it's all one piece. There's no release to release the pressure to get the blade out. It is clamping down on it really hard. There's no lever or cap to open. There is no spring-like thing to squeeze like there is with this Artist Club razor. And so part of the container that the blades come in for these injector razors includes an extension off to the side that's called the key. And it gets put in this compartment down here, this little blank space here. Up here is where the blade goes, and at a right angle to it is where the key goes. And like a wedge, when the key gets pushed in, then it opens up this top cap or the bottom. It opens it up just a little bit to allow the blade to be removed. And in fact, as you can see, this has a blue thing that moves back and forth. Then in a similar way, you would put this in there like that, and then you'd have a similar thing like this to push the blade through, and it would, because now the tension has been released, you would start to push the blade, and then the used one would come out one side, and coming out of your dispenser, it would go in the other side. And there you go. That's how you change them. Pretty neat little system, but it's very important that you keep the keys around, and the container is going to come with a key every time. And then once they're in place, I really enjoyed my shave with these guys. It'll give you a very firm feel, just like the Artist Club does. And so if you're thinking about maybe the Artist Club type razor, but you're not able to find anything that's inexpensive, an idea might be to try the Injector. And because it's going to give you a similar feel in terms of that blade, because it's that same thickness, and so you're gonna experience what it's like to have that consistency and that blade. And there are different, you can read reviews and stuff about the different injectors to try to find the one that might shave you best. But I tell you what, on eBay, these are a dime a dozen. So if you have access to eBay or some type of auction site, I mean, you might actually be able to get 10 of these things for $15 if or 20 bucks and get 5 of them at least. And so that's really not a lot of money. Sometimes even you'll get a couple of double-edged razors and then a couple of injectors, really, because these just aren't as popular. And so they go for cheap. So if you have access to the auction type sites, then buying an injector is cheap, that might be worth a try. It really might. All right. And like I said with the Artist Club, you do have a few choices in blades, and same thing with these injectors. You have a few choices, not nearly as many as the DE, but more than the single-edged, the Gem PTFE. You've got more choices. And I've shaved with these types a few times. I've been very happy with the shave. I could see the firmness was a whole different ball game than the double-edged razors. And the first time I used one, I thought, wow, this is what I could see why people would only shave with injectors. I could see that. I really enjoyed it. Let's see if there's anything else we needed to cover. Okay, guys, I definitely wanted to look online and confirm what I was saying about this one being a mongoose. I am wrong. And this is the Razorock Hawk, and it seems like it's the version 1. Put some other things in my hand down. This one's squared off as well. You see how they're both kind of angular like that? We got this face here and then flat. Same thing over here. Now this is the Hawk, and we've got a curved face there. And so I think what we're looking at is version 1 of the Hawk, aluminum, version 2 of the Hawk, aluminum. And some people call this one the Black Hawk. This looks like a mongoose, but the images I was able to find of the mongoose did not have these cutouts here and here. And some of the mongooses are stainless steel, and there are aluminum mongooses, but even the aluminum ones, I think, didn't have these cutouts. And so I believe, therefore, all of these are Razorock Hawks. We're just dealing with version 1 and version 2. There's a version 3 that is also out, and a quick cursory read through the internets said that that one was a stainless steel version. It had the same geometry as this one here, the version 2, but it was in stainless steel. And it also came, or at least some of them had a different, same geometry. It also came in an open comb and an aggressive. There were a few options there. So read up on that if you want. So there, as of now, there are 3 versions of the Hawk, it seems, or at least of the web page I found. And so that explains that. This is not a mongoose. It kind of looks like one because of the angles, but it's not a mongoose. But they are all Artist Club. And the mongoose is the brand, it seems. It's not the actual, I don't believe it's the razor itself, but that's the brand. And Maggard's Maggard Razors does have mongoose handles and has had those for a nice long time. I've got one. I don't use it very much. It just doesn't seem to match some of my other razors, but they are a very, very good quality. So I recommend those if you think they are, if they look nice and fit your style. I also wanted to show you, here is the Clog Pruf, the Gem Micromatic Clog Pruf, a solid bar down here. This is the Gem Micromatic open comb. This is what the open comb looks like. I'm going to take out this blade so that you can see it a little better. Micromatic open comb, Clog Pruf. And you know, they might call it Clog Pruf because of these huge openings right here for the hair to get away. This guy, use him very carefully. Can be extremely aggressive. But I might revisit him sometime and keep that face here almost touching my skin and try him again. I think I forgot about that last time I used it and he tore me up. I'm not talking about a lot of blood or anything, but it was aggressive feeling after the shave for sure. Now, here is that Clog Pruf again. And then here is the Gem bullet tip. See, this tip kind of flares out along with the handle there. It just gets bigger as it gets to the end. And then we have the bullet tip. Open up the bullet tip and it has insides that are slightly different. And the bullet tip actually has a little dot in the center of that face, and it was a marketing thing. They were saying, put the dot on your skin, I believe. And so I'm looking forward to trying this guy, trying the bullet tip out. I think he looks great. I definitely like his look better than the continued flare of the Clog Pruf. So look, I'm glad to finally have received one of those. And then another one. Look at this guy with a big old fat Bakelite handle. This is I believe it's called the Gem, Treet. This is a Treet brand. How about that? This one is a Treet brand. I know there's a Gem Junior that I think looks like this, that has the fat Bakelite handle. Now you see, look how it connects there and then comes up the back. So that is, different a little bit than the Clog Pruf. There are a whole lather catcher. There's some other brands out there that have this same look like this, like the Gem Junior and things like that. So how about that? I didn't know that was a Treet. And so if I take that single-edged blade, where did he go? We should just be able to set him in and let him rest on these these 2 posts on the corners. And then snap that shut. And there we go. I have no idea what to expect when shaving with him, but I'm looking forward to it. We'll just see what happens. Look at that fat handle. You are not gonna have a problem holding this guy, even if you have big hands like me. not going to be as nimble, but you don't have to turn this one around. The DE razors, you have to, when you shave with one side, you flip it over and shave the other side. And so a thinner handle is nice, but I guess with this one, you don't need to flip it, so a thicker handle is just fine. So that'll be fun, and maybe the same thing. I will be careful to keep that face here very close to my skin, and that might reward me with a good, close, and comfortable shave. So there are some of the different razors that I have. About single edge. We talked about the single edged. We talked about the injector style. And then, of course, we spent a lot of time talking about the Artist Club. In terms of feel, Alessandro asked about, comparisons. And so the feel, I think all of them will give you, in terms of closeness, a nice close shave. We've got a lot of people in the world that use any one of these options and love their shaves. And so I think closeness, you're going to be, in general, you're going to be okay. In terms of the feel of the shave, I believe my experience with the injectors were that they were not as aggressive. They were kinder than the single edges. But if you like aggressive razors, then maybe the single edges are the way to go. My experience with the Artist Club in this format, I don't have enough uses on this type of razor to be able to compare it with any kind of reliability, with any kind of authority. So I don't know. I definitely know of a couple of people who actually shave with this razor all the time. They just like it, and it's their thing. And but not a lot. Every once in a while, you'll see those types of AC razors come up, and people enjoy them sometimes. And I do see every once in a while you'll see somebody use a Hawk or a Mongoose. The Hawk probably more than the Mongoose that I've seen in my experience. But like I said, this is aluminum. If I had a steel one of these, stainless steel that was heavier, I might use it more. I'm not sure, but that the weight would probably give it a lot better, would give it a lot more points for me to be able to enjoy it more. But like I said, I still enjoy the shave. I just had to kind of pull it through the hair. Had a nice smooth feel to it. It didn't cut like butter. It didn't cut like there was nothing, like, is there a blade in here? No, you felt it, but it was very comfortable. Nothing like tugging or anything like that. You just knew that you were shaving with a razor. And I like the feel of it there. So there we go. And so that's the Artist Club. This guy, a little smoother, a little bit more maintenance here, because you always have to have the key that goes in. These you can remove the blade yourself with your fingers and all that, and this one, it has this, but it's not needed as a key. It's just a guide. And so you would not inject this into the razor. You would just use this to dispense one blade out to your fingers, and now you can put it in the razor. So that's how this one works. So my vote at this point would be for an injector, in terms of one that I might choose to use on a regular basis if I had to. It would probably be to play around with the injectors. And like I said, on eBay, you can get a ton of them and play and experience different ones and choose the one that works best for you. There are short ones and fat ones and all manner of those. Some long and lean ones, that sort of thing. All right, guys. Well, Alessandro, I sure hope this answers your question. I've tried my best. I mostly focus on the double-edged razors, but this is what I know about the single-edged market that we have available to us. And I believe it is pretty much all the single-edged. That I do have a few other injectors that I didn't have on hand, but I think this is pretty much what I've got. So there we go. This has been Sugar Daddy Shaves. Thank you everybody for watching. Alessandro, thank you for your great question. Take care.